These new types of groups will work together under the conscious guidance and suggestion of a member of the Great White Lodge. Note the word suggestion, my brothers. If these groups were subjected to the authority of such a member, then the objective of all the work undertaken would fail to materialize. An occult law would have been broken. Free, intelligent assistance is what we are asking from all our disciples today, and we leave them free to render it or not as they like, and in the manner which may seem best to them. I am your teacher. I make suggestion. I offer instruction. I indicate the way to the goal, and to the field of service. I point out to you what we, the teachers upon the inner side, seek to see accomplished. Temporarily and of your own free will, you have indicated your willingness to serve and to cooperate in my plans. Beyond thus indicating the way and the service, I will not go. It is for all of you, my disciples, to work out in joint collaboration and in the closest understanding the way that my suggestions and my hints should be utilized. I do not interfere. First of all, I call for a deeper love and comprehension between the members of the group. This is necessary in order that the internal structure of the group may be more firmly and closely integrated. Next, you must learn to work on the levels of meditation with greater clarity and power. So much of your meditation work is selfish. Do you realize that? Is not your attitude very often to be expressed in the following terms? When I am meditating, what will the Tibetan give me at this time? Will he give me something which will make me a better disciple? Will the meditation which he may give me interest me more than the one I am now doing? Will a change in meditation bring me better results, probably of a phenomenal kind? Or a new revelation or fresh enlightenment and enable me to achieve my goal? Few of you in this particular group in my ashram as yet really work in meditation upon those levels where creative work is done. May I point out that until you can begin to do this, the work which I seek to do through all of you is largely at a standstill. The object of any meditation which I may assign to you is to enable you to have power in meditation so that you will no longer be preoccupied with yourselves and your own problems, but you will become unified with your group for group work and eventually for still wider group purposes. My purposes, as your teacher and a world worker and server. With what kind of instrument, therefore, can I now work? Every true teacher asks himself this question, as he studies the grouping of souls with which he has associated himself and which he seeks to serve and aid. As integration of the group takes place, the predispositions and the basic tendencies of the mass group qualities emerge and can be studied. Weaknesses can then be offset, and right indications fostered. I have earlier pointed out to you that the basic qualities for which we look are sensitivity, impersonality, psychic capacity and mental polarization. Upon these I would like very briefly to enlarge, and then I will lay before you, for your understanding, interest, and possible collaboration, the plans for future group activity. These plans can materialize, if you can make the necessary adjustments, and submit yourselves to the discipline, and the training, which will make greatly increased usefulness possible. I have stated that the first requirement is sensitivity. What exactly is this? It does not mean primarily that you are a sensitive soul, the connotation of which usually means that you are thin-skinned, self-centered and always on the defensive. Rather do I refer to the capacity whereby you are enabled to expand your consciousness so that you become aware of ever-widening ranges of contact. I refer to the ability to be alive, alert, keen to recognize relationships, quick to react to need, mentally, emotionally and physically attentive to life and rapidly developing the power to observe upon all three planes in the three worlds simultaneously. I am not interested in your personal relations, where they concern your own personality, sensitivity to depression, to self-pity, your defenses, your so-called sensitivity to slights, to misunderstandings, your dislike of your environing conditions, your hurt pride and qualities of this kind. These all cause you bewilderment and let loose in you the floodgates of compassion for yourself. But you do not need me to deal with them. Of them you are well aware, and can handle them if you choose. These faults are interesting only insofar as they affect the life of your group. They must be handled by you with care, and with the open eye that senses danger from afar and seeks to avoid it. The sensitivity which I want to see developed is alertness to soul contact, impressionability to the voice of the teacher, and aliveness to the impact of new ideas and to the delicacy of intuitional responsiveness. These are ever the hallmark of the true disciple. It is spiritual sensitivity which must be cultivated. This is only truly possible when you learn to work through the centers above the diaphragm and to transmute solar plexus activity, which is so dominant in the average person, turning it into heart activity and the service of your fellowmen. Impersonality, particularly for high-grade integrated people, is peculiarly difficult to achieve. There is a close relation between impersonality and detachment. Study this. Many cherished ideas, many hard-won qualities, many carefully nurtured righteousnesses and many powerfully formulated beliefs militate against impersonality. It is hard for the disciple during the process of his early training to hold earnestly to his own ideals, and to pursue forcefully his own spiritual integration, and yet remain impersonally oriented towards other people. He seeks recognition of his struggle and achievement. He longs to have the light which he has kindled draw forth a reaction from others. He wants to be known as a disciple. He aches to show his power and his highly developed love nature so that he may evoke admiration or, at least, challenge. But nothing happens. He is looked upon as no better than all the rest of his brothers. Life, therefore, proves dissatisfying. These truths of self-analysis are seldom definitely faced or formulated by any of you, and, therefore, because I seek to help you, I formulate them for you and face you with them. It is hard for intelligent men and women to see others closely associated with them dealing with life and problems from a totally different angle to their own, handling them in a weak or stupid way, from the angle of the disciple, and making apparently serious errors in judgment or technique. Yet, brother of old, why are you so sure that you are right, and that your point of view is necessarily correct? It may be that your slant on life, and your interpretation of a situation needs readjustment, and that your motives and attitudes could be more elevated or purer. And even if they are for you the highest and the best that you can achieve at any given time, then pursue your way and leave your brother to pursue his. Better a man's own dharma than the dharma of another. Thus does the Bhagavad Gita express this truth, telling the disciple to mind his own business. This attitude of non-interference and the refusal to criticize, in no way prevents service to each other or constructive group relations. It does not negate the expression of love, or happy group cooperation. There is ever much opportunity for the practice of impersonality in all group relations. In every group there is usually one group member, and perhaps several, who constitute a problem to themselves and to their group brothers. Perhaps you yourself are such an one and know it not. Perhaps you know who, among your co-servers, provides a testing for his fellows. Perhaps you can see clearly what is the group weakness, and who it is that is keeping the group back from finer activity. That is well and good, provided that you continue to love and serve and to refrain from criticism. It is a wrong attitude to seek assiduously to straighten out your brother, to chide him or seek to impose your will on him or your point of view, though it is always legitimate to express ideas and make suggestion. Groups of disciples are groups of free and independent souls who submerge their personal interests in service, and who seek that inner linking which will fuse the group into an instrument for the service of humanity and of the hierarchy. Continue with your own soul discipline, and leave your brothers to continue theirs. The question of psychic powers is not so easy to explain. I do not refer to the lower psychic powers which may or may not develop as time goes on and the need for them arises. I refer to the following capacities, inherent in the soul, which must be developed in all of you if you are to do your share in meeting world need, and work for the hierarchy in the field of world service. Let us briefly enumerate them. 1. Intuitional response to ideas. 2. Sensitiveness to the impression which some member of the hierarchy may seek to make upon the mind of the disciple. It is for this reason that I am training you to utilize the full moon contact. 3. Quick response to real need. You had not regarded this as one of the psychic powers, my brother. Had you? I refer not here to a solar plexus reaction, but to heart knowledge. Ponder on this distinction. 4. Right observation of reality upon the soul plane. This leads to right mental perception, to freedom from illusion and glamour, and to the illumination of the brain. 5. Correct manipulation of force, involving, therefore, an understanding of the types and qualities of force and their right creative weaving into service upon the outer plane. 6. A true comprehension of the time element, with its cyclic ebb and flow and the right seasons for action, the most difficult psychic power to master, my brothers, but one which can be mastered through the use of patient waiting and the elimination of hurry. All these powers, the disciple must eventually develop, but the process is necessarily slow. Next comes the quality of mental polarization. What exactly is this power or quality? For you, at this time, it must express itself in two ways. 1. Through the life of meditation. 2. Through the control of the astral body. Increasingly must your inner life be lived upon the mental plane. Steadily and without dissent must the attitude of meditation be held, not for a few minutes each morning, or at specific moments throughout the day, but constantly, all day long. It infers a constant orientation to life, and the handling of life from the angle of the soul. This does not refer to what is so often referred to as turning one's back upon the world. The disciple faces the world, but he faces it from the level of the soul, looking clear-eyed upon the world of human affairs. In the world, yet not of the world, is the right attitude expressed for us by the Christ. Increasingly must the normal and powerful life of the emotional, astral, desire and glamorous nature be controlled and rendered quiescent by the life of the soul, functioning through the mind. The emotions which are normally self-centered and personal must be transmuted into the realizations of universality and impersonality. The astral body must become the organ through which the love of the soul can pour. Desire must give place to aspiration, and that, in its turn, must be merged in the group life, and the group good. Glamour must give place to reality, and the pure light of the mind must pour into all the dark places of the lower nature. These are the results of mental polarization,